What up, Renzo gang? How y'all feeling? How y'all feeling? Today is another real life, real talk video. This one right here. This one right here is inspired by my beautiful best friend, Denisha. She actually voted on this video because I put up a little poll on Instagram, and this one right here, this one came from her, so I had to do this one for her. And also, it was in the heart, so I had to do it too. But before I put out the title, hope everyone's had an amazing day today. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. Thank you all for the love and support. Thank you. Now, let's get started. This one right here is titled, Living Your Best Life. Living your best life, you feel me? Because I'm living my best life. I ain't got time to... Let me stop playing. All right, so this video right here, titled Living Your Best Life. I really don't have to get into what this means, just live your best life. Life is really too short, and there's a lot that's been going on. There's a lot that going on in this crazy world that we live in, man. I'm telling you. But also, don't just look at the negative and everything that's been, all the chaos in the world right now. Also, you got to take time and just look at the beautiful stuff that, that you can also do in this world, and also the beautiful things that don't get pushed out there because everything is so negative and it's just so sickening. You also got to think positive and, put all put a positive mindset on, and, do things that you want to do. Live your best life. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to go out the country and travel, by all means do that. If you want to go on a cruise, do it. If you want to go, to an amusement park, do that. If you want to, take trips, to, go to wrestling shows or just go to anything, concerts, whatever. Go to the beach or something. Live your best life. Do what makes you happy. Because at the end of the day, you are responsible for, doing things and accomplishing things. Like, no one's going to hold you back. Sometimes people do hold you back, but you are in control of that. Well, let me rephrase that. God is in control of everything. Let's be number one. God is in control of everything. And, hold on. I'm thirsty, y'all. God is in control of everything out here, and you can't give people the power to, stop you from living your best life. Only, God Almighty can stop you from doing certain things, because 9 times out of 10, He's protecting you from a lot of things. And also, He's trying to get our attention, sit us down. But when it comes to, living your best life, give Him all the glory and praise, because everything, a lot of beautiful things in this world come from Him. And, we all are humans, so we all have to take breaks, from work, doing hard stuff. We have to enjoy our lives as much as we can, because if you don't, you're going to drive yourself crazy. And I'm one of those that I have to really start going out and just doing things that I really want to do, because, life, like I said, life is just too short. And before my time on this earth is up, I don't want to look back and, and just think like I was just stuck in a box. I don't want to be one of those, to be like, you really didn't do nothing with your life, so you really need to, you just got to get out more, And I'm about to be 32 in a couple months, so it's time for me to get out there and live my best life as well. I literally just came from, Monday Night Raw this past week, and that was like one of the best shows I've ever had. And when I go out into wrestling shows, I just go and have the best fun that I can have. And it's just, I don't know, it's just that environment, it just feels so good to just get out there. A lot of people don't care about wrestling. I'm one of those that I love it. I've been loving it since I was a child. So I'm always gonna love wrestling to the day that I die. So wrestling is just, to me, that's living my best life. It may not be important to a lot of people, but it's important to me, because, going out there and just enjoying my life, meeting a whole different, different people, from different backgrounds and, different fans out there. That's like one of the best feelings, man. Just like going to Comic-Con, that's another dream that I have, Comic-Con. I've never been to Comic-Con. I love anime and I love comics. You know, that's something that I want to, accomplish for me. You know, also my number one thing on my bucket list is to go to WrestleMania. That's like my number one thing, you know. Um Also, another thing I've never got the chance to do is, go out of town or go in a different country for my birthday. You know, that's something that I want to accomplish, before my time on this earth is up. There's a lot of things I want to do, so I'm making this video, y'all, for just to, motivate you guys to live your best life because, like I said, life is just too short. And once you get a certain age, like, time is going to fly by. Like, your life is going to speed up. And you don't want to be one of those that be like, that just regret everything. Because just like me, I don't want to be one of those that regret that, things in my life. A lot of times, I do get frustrated and I don't get to do things, that everyone else is doing because, life happens. You have to pay your bills. You got to work, in order to do the things that you want to do. And, sometimes it does get frustrating and, because everyone's financial situations or everyone's path in life is different. Everyone is different. Everyone's lives are different. So, and then, I don't want to, compare my life to someone else's because, that's not gonna, compare yourself to someone else's life, you're gonna be miserable. And I was one of those that try to compare my life to others. I'm like, I wish I can do that. I want to do this, that, and the third. But it's gonna happen. It's gonna take time, but it's gonna happen. And I'm gonna make sure it's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying, Renzo gang? Like, because, like, for example, WrestleMania 43, that's gonna be going to Saudi Arabia, and that was supposed to be, going to New Orleans. But WrestleMania 44, that's the one I'm shooting for because that's supposed to be coming back to the United States and it's supposed to be going to Nashville, Tennessee, and I'm in North Carolina. So I definitely have to make sure that I'm working my tail off this year and next year because from WrestleMania 44, when they announced that it's going to be going to Tennessee, I'm marking my words, Renzo gang, I'm going and ain't nobody going to stop me. Nothing or nobody's going to stop me from going to WrestleMania 44 in 2028. I'm putting that into the universe. I done gave that to God. Ain't nobody gonna stop me from living my best life and accomplishing something on my bucket list. Nobody gonna stop me. Nothing is gonna stop me. So like I said before, Renzo gang, live your best life. And also, you don't always have to go with everybody, to live your best life. You can go by yourself, but it's always fun when you have someone to go because if you go by yourself a lot, sometimes people that like to be alone all the time, that does get lonely, and that does, to me, I like to be alone sometimes, but not all the time because it's not really no fun when you by yourself a lot of times. Sometimes it is fun. You ain't got to depend on nobody. You ain't got to no answer to nobody. It's fun when you go by yourself. Sometimes you can do what you want to do, but it's a lot more fun when you have others, that reciprocate that energy. Like everything just fun. Like for example, WrestleMania 44, I'm definitely want to go with me and my friends. Because I know a lot of people that are wrestling fans just like me, and it's fun, hanging out with others, that love the same things that you love. And eventually, one day, when I do get the chance, to finally settle down with someone, I want to live my best life with that person, whoever she may be in the future, whoever she may be. She could be watching my channel right now and, don't even know it's you, you know what I'm saying? And whoever you are, mi amor, whoever you are, beautiful woman, when the time comes, we going to live our best life together. But right now, your boy, I'm single, I'm doing what I want to do. I'm going to live my best life, single, and when I get into a relationship with a beautiful woman, I'm gonna live my best life with her too. So, but for those out there that that work too much, this video is for you. I want you to stop what you're doing. I want you to count how much money you have up, save it up, book a trip, just get out the house, don't be stuck in, don't be, a hermit, get out, have fun, just go do something, because I'm telling you, you're gonna drive yourself crazy if you be stuck in the house all the time and stuck working all the time. You're gonna drive yourself crazy. Go live your best life. Even if just driving down to the beach, just do something, do that. If that makes you happy, do that by all means. Like, just do it. You have to live your best life. You have to get out there and, do what you have to do, because at the end of the day, we never know when our last days are. We never know. So with that, you have to go out there and just live your best life, because if you don't, you're going to regret every minute of it. And, you know, that's time you'll never get back. And so, and honestly, when people say that, and when I say that, I get emotional about that, and I get kind of, like, worried about that, because, like, once your past is in your past, you ain't never gonna get that time back, and it does kind of hurt to say that, but it's the truth. Just live in the moment. You don't want to keep living in the past, because you keep living in the past, you're definitely gonna drive yourself crazy, and you're gonna be even more miserable. Like, living in the past, you're gonna stop yourself from wanting to live, tomorrow, the next day, next day. You know, it's cool to reminisce, but never be stuck living in the past. Just look forward to the future. Live your best life in the future, and just go out there and do what you want to do. Don't let nobody stop you from chasing your dreams. Just because something that you want to do may seem silly to someone else, is not for them to understand it. God gave that to you for a reason. Everyone's not gonna understand, why you want to do certain things that you want to do. That's something that God gave you. And me personally, wrestling is one of my things that I love to do. That's how I live my best life. Going on cruises, going on amusement parks. Just going out and just living my life, doing what I want to do. Just going out having fun. That's just something that I want to do. A lot of people might look at it as like that's boring, but I mean, yeah, to you. But when I'm out there, I'm actually living the time of my life. That makes me happy. Do what makes you happy. Forget what everyone else says. Forget about their opinions. Go out there, live your best life. Because if you don't, I promise you, you're gonna be angry, bitter, full of regret. You're gonna be a negative person. I'm telling you, do what you want to do. Live your best life. Don't let nobody stop you. I mean, nobody. Family, friends, acquaintances, teachers, co-workers. Don't let nobody stop you from doing what you want to do. That's your life. God gave you that life. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times when God give you a dream, don't waste it. Do something with it. Use it. But Renzo gang, I don't want to get too deep into this. Hope everyone's got this message. Live your best life. And then for the ones that that work too hard, or that constantly daydream about going on vacation and just living your life, stop what you're doing right now and just do it. Because you'll never get that time back. I promise you'll never get that time back. All right, Renzo gang. Comment down below if you want to see some more videos like these, Renzo gang. Just and give me a good topic to talk about. I got a couple more videos coming out. One of them is staying consistent. It's going to be dropping, and this one right here. This one's going to be dropping, and I have one more. I'm not going to tell you what that title is. You just have to see it when you see it, Renzo gang. So with that being said, I love y'all. Go live your best life. I'll see you next time.